Hello, and welcome back to another of my unfiltered thoughts. I think this is episode I don't know, 4 or 5. But guess what? I've had thoughts and I feel like sharing them. And as I've been sitting here and I'm going to be working on my puzzle while I talk, by the way, because I feel like it and I can. And I'm just separating out pieces, so it's not too much thinking. Couple of random things. I made this headband. I'm very proud of it. I just wanted to share and shout out to my mom for this sweatshirt. It says Women in Aviation. And then, I don't know if you can see the back, but it's got like a big logo. I love it. I just finished a check ride and passed it, so she got this for me. So thank you, Mom. I love it. Thank you very much. But you see, I always have these thoughts when I'm like doing something and then I go and turn on the camera to film and I just kind of forget about everything I was going to say. So since these are my unfiltered thoughts, I'm just gonna keep talking. A stream of consciousness, a stream of consciousness, as one would say, as my boyfriend would say. So let's see. Something that I was talking about or thinking about to myself is how much I feel like I've grown. And I feel like I've grown a lot, especially in the past couple of months, maybe even like the past couple of years specifically, like just this time in my life. I feel like I've grown. And I feel like I owe that partly to me being alone a lot. I feel like I wake up sometimes, it's just me and Cairo and now Paris, my cat, she was here a second ago. But I'm alone, and for the longest time I used to hate that, I would do everything to not be alone. I'd be around people constantly. I would drive back home to go see my family. I would plan trips. I would constantly be looking for ways to not be alone. And it's not too terrible, it's fine. But I feel like when you are alone, you're with your thoughts a lot more and you learn a lot more about yourself and who you are as a person. Like the things that you like, the things you dislike. There's just not as much distraction going on. Your thoughts are very much heard, whether you want them to be or not, and you realize like how you really are as a human being. So I feel like that's been pretty cool because especially like super lately, I really feel like I'm enjoying my own company, Like I'm over here puzzling. I've been listening to an audiobook. I've been crocheting today. I went for like some walks, and I did invite a friend over, and I invited a friend over because I just wanted to see how she was doing. I just wanted to hang out and catch up. It wasn't solely for the purpose of not being alone. Because I feel like, being lonely usually happens when you don't feel any sort of connection. And when you feel unconnected to yourself, you try to seek it in other people. And I feel like I used to do that. But by forcing myself to be more alone and to get comfortable with that loneliness, I feel like I have connected with myself a lot more. And I understand who I am and the person that I want to be. Which kind of brings me on to the next thing I want to talk about. I've been reading this book called Designing Your Life. I don't remember the authors off the top of my head, but I'll put it in the comments below because I really like this book. One of the things that they talk about is how people always feel like they're stuck, They're like, oh, I'm at this job, I hate this job. This state is horrible, the weather is awful. And they feel like they're stuck. They can't do anything about it. And so they just kind of suffer through their life day to day. But then in the book, they talk about how being stuck isn't a physical thing. We're humans. We have brains. We can troubleshoot and we can design solutions to our problems. And if you feel stuck, that's exactly what it is. You feel stuck. It's a feeling. It's a state of mind. You can always reframe your thoughts and your problems. So if it's oh, I have no umbrella and it's pouring rain outside, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna get soaking wet. Now your problem is that it's raining outside, you have no umbrella. So at that point, the person feels stuck. They're like, But if they just accepted that and they said, okay, well, like, what's good about this? It's like, well, my plants at home are being watered right now, so that takes a ton of time off of my shoulders. I don't have to go out and water the plants today. So instead, I'll go home and I'll take a nice cozy shower, and I'll have a self-care evening because I'm gonna get soaking wet in this rain. So it's like problems like that, when you feel stuck, you feel like you can't do anything about it. It's like you really can. Whoops. Ignore that. I said low battery. But yeah. So I really liked that, because I feel like in this point in my life, you know, especially because, like, specifically for myself, I went to school to be a pilot. So I'm going to be a pilot, you know? And I feel like at some points I've thought about it and I'm like, is this really what I wanted to do? Did I choose this because I had a passion for it? And like, I feel like I did, but at the same time, it's not the only thing that I care about. I have so many cares. I care about, like, the environment, gardening. I have all these hobbies. I love spending time with my family and my friends, my loved ones. I love baking and, you know, so much stuff like that. But what's, like, really important to me is that I don't get stuck in this job and paying back my loans. You know, I have to get a job. That's like, they call these things like gravity problems in the book. And they say how, you know, gravity, it just is. We all are feeling gravity right now at this second, and there is literally nothing you can do about it. So why would you think about it as a problem? It just is. So it's like, I went to school, I have all these loans, and I have to pay it back no matter what. So instead of getting stuck on that, and being like, oh, I have all these loans, what am I gonna do? I don't wanna do this. Instead, you know, I can find multiple different sources of income, which is partly this, but also this is more of like a creative outlet, and I just like talking. And you know, this has also helped me like think through my own thoughts. So, yeah. But what was I saying? So, like, the gravity problems. Just zoned out so hard. Maybe doing a puzzle isn't a great idea. You know, whoever's watching this right now, I hope you're having a really great day. And if you're not, I hope that you can do something for yourself to make it a great day. Or even just like a day that you're proud of having had. That's what I'm kind of trying to do now with my days. Instead of being like, wow, that was a fantastic day. That was a great day. That was the perfect day. It's like, I just want the day to be something that I can look back at and be like, I'm proud that I had that day. I took care of myself and my mental health, my physical health, and I ate well, and I worked on my goals, and, you know, that kind of thing. It doesn't need to be a perfect day where I went out and did all these crazy things or super productive. But yeah, I hope you had a great day, or are going to have a great day. But anyways, back to what I was saying before I got super off track. With where I am in my life right now, I just, you know, I just want to have a life that where I wake up every day and I'm grateful. And I never want to wake up and be in that situation or that thought process where it's like, man, I seriously have to go to work or do this. I want to be grateful. And I feel like if I'm only going to work and doing a job, like one job every single day, and I don't have hobbies and I come home and watch TV or something, I don't feel like I'll be grateful. So I'm trying to build a life, which is why I love this book, literally called Designing Your Life, that helps me to prioritize the things that are important to me. So you should definitely read this book. Something that it emphasized was that it doesn't matter what stage you are in your life. This book is very helpful for people who just graduated from college. But if you're like 75 years old and you're retired and you're just feeling a little lost in life, like, this book is still so helpful, and it talks about that in the book too. You can change your life at any stage or any point. You could be 18 and going to college and decide to switch your major, and it's like, oh, it's not that big a deal. You could be 45 and then decide to travel abroad and become like a photojournalist or something. Like, you only have one life. So if you're not living a life that you're proud of and that you find joy in, then what are you doing? At least that's my thought process. I always want to love my life. I think that's important because you really do only get one. Everything comes to an end and you don't know when that will be. And some people think that's scary, but I think it's beautiful because it gives everything that much more meaning. But like at the same time, it doesn't mean that I'm like constantly trying to pack every single moment with something to make it seem important or like meaningful. It just means that I'm appreciating every moment. You know, some days I might sit and watch a movie for 2 hours and then watch another movie after that, and then I don't know, go for a walk or something. And maybe I don't do a whole lot that day, but just the fact that I'm able to and that I'm grateful for it makes it so precious to me. And especially being able to enjoy that stuff by myself is something that I really appreciate about how I've grown, because I know the me from maybe like 3 years ago would probably really be struggling, especially when like she would ask someone to like hang out and they'd be like, no, I just don't feel like it. You know, I feel like I used to take that personally. Or if other people tried to like have time alone, I didn't understand that time alone was so precious and I would feel offended. But now it's like, if someone near me is taking time for themselves, you know, I'm happy for them. I'm like, good for you. Like, go be by yourself and have your own thoughts and enjoy your own company. Because the two people in your life, and this is my final thought because I need to go get the bread out of the oven. Like literally, I made bread. Bread is in the oven right now. No, not like that. There are 2 loaves of bread in my oven, and that is the alarm for it. But okay, final thought. That was awkward. There are only 2 people in life that you need to seek approval from. And those 2 people are your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. Right? Isn't that so interesting? My therapist told that to me, and it's just always stuck with me since then. But yeah, the only 2 people you need to seek approval from are your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. No one else. You're hanging out by yourself and you're feeling like something's off. Think about what your 8-year-old self would say or do, and your 80-year-old self. That's it. Food for thought. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thank you for being here. Peace. Go into this world and do great things.